and welcome once again, everybody. Guess what time it is? It's time to tell the truth, because there is no other thing that you can build without knowing exactly what the truth is. I don't know, but somebody taught me that a long time ago, and I've been building things upside down ever since. And why do I say upside down? Well, because the rest of the world is building on lies. So today we got our friend of mine that, we've been together for, not together, but we've been talking to each other for a little bit. And I get to watch her success and grow to heights that I can only imagine. And since we wanted to give it to you straight and without any, no blinders or anything like that, what I wanted to do is bring her on board. And it took a long time to bring her on board. Her name is Jodie. And we're going to talk to her about how in the world she got so successful. L1, are you on board with us today?
Oh yes, I'm here. You know, part of being a successful entrepreneur, and I think also part of the enjoyment that people kind of sometimes forget about being in a business is the relationships you end up building. So, glad to have Jodi here. Like I said, we have known her for a while, and it's been
she's
awesome
super
journey.
Cool. I got her on mute right now because I know she's excited. She's probably gonna cut me down. Oh yeah, well, you need to do this. But she's really cool. What I'm hoping today is to get from her some of the insight on what makes an entrepreneur successful. She's got this marvelous way of looking at life and looking at opportunities and things of that nature, which I want to really drag out. So I think I've known her since like 2015, but I don't know. Hey, Jodi, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Thanovi. How are you?
Doing fantastic. So, I've been trying to get you on here forever. So
You have.
I'm pretty happy that you're here. I'm pretty excited. I promise to behave and be good and, not mess the vibes up like I normally do. But, we're going to talk to you about, ask you, just on a friendly basis and to maybe help some entrepreneurs out there kind of see the light on what it really takes to be an entrepreneur, because it's not easy. Is it easy or is it not easy?
I mean, it's a lot of work.
It's easy when you know how, right? Is that what you're gonna
it's easy
say?
when you know how, and when you start enjoying it, it becomes easier. But it takes work. It just does. But it's rewarding. Probably one of the most rewarding endeavors I've ever been on. So,
Jodi, what do you think? Is it easy or is it not easy?
I would say it is not easy, but it is simple.
Whoa! See, already mind-boggling. That got me. Not easy, but it is simple. All right, can you define not easy versus simple?
Not easy is when things don't always go your way. Not easy is when you have to pick yourself back up from mistakes that are made.
Oh, I
Not
see.
easy is having to learn new things, having to go outside your comfort zone. But simple is a duplicatable system that you can plug into and follow.
I like that. I really like that. But there's a lot of curveballs that are thrown at you, right? Life, negativity, things get in the way, and you're saying it's not easy because of those things, right? You got to pick yourself up and move on.
I'm saying that factors into it for sure.
Beautiful. I can tell already this is going to be really good. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget. El Cuco is still with us, so be careful what you're thinking. Don't let that guy in your head. Otherwise you'll never be able to get out. Before we continue, we're self-sponsored, so, we got a very important message from someplace in the world.
Welcome, team and survivors of the darkness virus. Become the Source is a self-sponsored broadcast assisting you to find your way through life. The Dynexum Project has made it possible for us and other social media content providers and creators to become independent by being able to choose products and services that assist your ability to finance and maintain your podcast, removing the fear of losing your sponsor or monetization. The Dynexum Project helps you be the boss and remain in charge of your content, and most importantly, your streams of income. After all, you are the talent behind your show. So imagine creating multiple streams of income doing what you do best. But hey, don't believe us. Try it for yourself. You can visit dynexumintro.nsa6.com. That's dynexumintro.nsa6.com. You can also visit revenuechallenge.nsa6.com. That's revenuechallenge, revenuechallenge.nsa6.com. And for more information, you can go to www.becomethesource.com.
And let me tell you something about the revenue challenge real quick. If you are online and you're tired about, getting your show cut off because you said something incorrectly, or getting your sponsor to not sponsor you anymore because you're just being yourself, the best way to go is really the revenue challenge. Check it out. Give yourself that try because, we absolutely believe in you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear a great round of applause. Come on, bring it up. There you go. Thank you. All right, that's all for Jodi, not me, because when I'm on board, they don't do anything. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're here today with Jodi and L1, of course, and Luna 9, as well as Alexi AI. They've taken a little sabbatical today. I guess they're doing something else, like watching the show for a change. So they're here just watching Jodi speak because she really is an amazing person, and she has spoken to I don't know how many people, but I know it's more than I can count. And not only that, she's a really good entrepreneur. By good, I mean she's good at it. She has absolutely done the hard work, tested the waters. She comes from a background of really working hard and stuff like that. And for me, it's a great pleasure and honor to have her here because not only do I get to learn something, but I get to spend some time with her. So I don't want you guys thinking like, this is somebody, from out there that we just randomly selected. No, this is a very personal friend of ours. And believe it or not, it's very difficult to get her on board. Talking about getting you on board, Jodi, have you ever been on a podcast before?
I certainly have not.
How does it feel?
It's not as scary as I thought it was going to be.
See, that's exactly what I would expect from you, right?
Well, when you work with professionals, okay? Working with the best here, so it made it very, very simple.
L1, how you doing today?
Well, I'm doing pretty good.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna have hopefully Jodi can come on several shows with us because trying to figure out what it is to be an entrepreneur. I don't think you can learn it overnight. Am I right about that, Jodi? Is it an overnight thing? Go to a class, you're an entrepreneur immediately, or what? What do you think?
Right, exactly. I don't know. I would say some people are born entrepreneurs, and I would include myself in that category. But other people, all it takes is a desire and a vehicle.
So you say you're born entrepreneur, right? That's kind of interesting. So you got up one morning, you came out of, mom, hopefully. Not like me, I was hatched from an egg. But you got out, mom, doctor is already there, already, prepping you, and you go and you give him the bill, right? You say, well, since I allowed you to do your job, I think I should collect some money. That kind of entrepreneur, born with it, like ready to go?
Pretty much.
Really?
Pretty much.
Wow, amazing. So you also owned a salon at one point, right?
I did.
In the great city of New York? Or,
I did.
New York State up there?
True.
What was it like to own a salon? Because that's a traditional job, right?
It was basically an adult daycare center.
Wow.
I mean, I loved it. It was great.
How so? Tell me, how so?
Nothing against the salon industry. I had a beautiful career and I worked with wonderful people, but, it's just, it's a whole different culture.
So when you're saying babysitters, it's like the people you were working with, the clients coming in? Because I know I can be annoying.
Oh, no, I'm speaking of, having 40 people working for me at my salon and day spa and, just dealing with their lives and their life's challenges and, their drama and antics.
Tell me a good story from the way back. Somebody sat in your chair and what happened? Tell me. I'm curious.
Oh, I can't divulge those secrets.
You wouldn't.
Stylists are sworn to secrecy.
Is that right? They take the stylist oath?
What happens in the salon stays in the salon. It's the oath.
Fair enough.
It's the oath.
Well, how about this? Because it sounds like, saying that you were born, with an entrepreneurial spirit, some people would say that requires a lot of passion and drive. So what's the passion in you that you think drives you to, continue to want to be in business? Because you don't seem like someone who likes 9 to 5 at all. So what would you say is what's important? Why is it important to you as far as being in a business, or what's the passion behind what you're doing? What would you say it is?
I think the creative mind that I was born with allowed me to just see a bigger world out there than what was presented to me from my upbringing. And I've just always had the mentality of if you can't take orders, you have to learn how to take risks.
So I'm curious.
Okay, so either take orders or take risks. I like
So,
that.
and that's, you know what? That's very common when I read a lot of books, and some of the entrepreneurs that have been around for a while, they'll tell you the same thing. You either take a risk or, stay where you are, and eventually something will force you out of where you are, out of your comfort zone, just because things change, life changes, the industry changes. But something that comes to mind is, she says she's right here. You say that you were born an entrepreneur. I'm sure when you were born, you weren't like labeled entrepreneur. When did you decide that you were born like an entrepreneur? When did you realize that?
Right. I mean, lemonade stands as a kid, that
Really?
sort of things. Oh,
I was just poking fun at that earlier backstage.
But that's true for me. And, being on
I'm so sorry. Oh,
I was
my
on
God.
an airplane at a very young age, and I, took a can of peanuts that we had packed as a snack and went up and down the aisles trying to, sell people snacks.
Wow.
That sort of thing. I had a salon in my basement when I was 11, charging people for haircuts. I made signs and posted them at our clubhouse to be a mother's helper, to try to earn some money while, if a mother needed help with her children while she was doing laundry or.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had that much. I thought I knew you well. I do on the show.
Paper routes, everything.
Wow. I used to do
kidding.
paper routes too as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
On
I
a
used to
little
do
bike.
art projects and sell them.
Oh my gosh.
Like what? I mean, how do you sell an art project? I'm curious.
I used to do burlap rug hooking. So on
I remember
a piece
that.
of burlap, I would, hook a design and frame it and try to sell it.
Well, you remind me of the time that I used to do embroidery. I would draw something on a shirt and then use the different color threads, and I would embroider it by hand.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to do that for a while. That's really interesting. Oh my gosh, I
Cool.
didn't know you had such an extensive background.
Yeah.
Cool
So I
stuff.
got a real important question, because not everybody then can say I had a lemonade stand, right? Somebody actually had to buy the lemonade, right?
True.
So that was probably me buying the lemonade. So the thing is, what about you, Elle? Buying the lemonade or selling it? I'm curious.
I kind of do remember when I was a kid, believe it or not, I would try to sell flowers.
Really?
I would, unfortunately,
All these
I
secrets
picked,
coming out.
I picked the flowers from my grandma's garden. And I would tell my dad, look at these flowers I found. He's like, you didn't find those flowers, you took them. I'm like, I'm going to sell them. Or sometimes I'd pick dandelions. I'm like, okay, I'm like, flowers. And they're like, well, those aren't flowers, those are weeds. I'm like, well, I can't pick the flowers from the garden, can't pick the dandelions, so I had to get creative. I started to make little flowers out of
A lot of weeds?
no, not out of weeds, out of
Out of
pipe
what?
cleaners.
Oh,
You know,
wow. I
pipe
remember
cleaners and
that.
pom-poms.
Yeah.
So I was like, here, I made these flowers.
Those are amazing. Those are amazing little stories. So the question is this, right?
Persistence.
I know, right? So if you're not born like that you want to sell weeds and flowers and pom-poms and, go up and down the airplane aisle selling things, is there a hope for people that are not really born like that and, born and practicing those things? Well, first of all, before you answer that, did anybody show you how to do that when you were a kid?
No.
Wow. So really, yeah, that's the other question. Like, what inspired you to keep going up to your current life, to to stay entrepreneurial? Like, because you said nobody inspired you, but did something inspire you?
I mean, that's a great question. I don't really know.
See, I don't think you know as a kid what inspires you or what
Right.
doesn't inspire
Yeah,
you.
think
I
you're
think
right.
it was a drive to have control over my own life. I think it was, seeing other people having to go to work, a father who didn't like his job and came home miserable every
That was
day.
my dad.
I just knew there was something different, something better.
Wow. Okay.
Ooh, she gets a little star for that.
No, I
one.
think that's a pretty honest answer, and
It's a real honest answer.
I think it is real, because I don't think kids would ever say, well, I was inspired by it. Did kids just, all they know is that they either want something or don't want something. And most people I like that too. Like you said earlier, Jodi, it's like a desire. They had a desire for something.
Exactly.
In your case, you had a desire to have control over your life in some respect. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that makes sense.
I've seen on some psychological videos that, you got your kids and some are givers, some are takers, some are pushers, some are pushovers. And I don't know if these traits are DNA oriented or embedded because of the environment. I think it has a little bit to do with a lot. But I still have to wonder about the next question is, if you're not born like that, like with that ability just to kind of see that creative side of business, is there hope for you? Because let's face it, if you look at people trying to do stuff, and again, there's a lot of things involved, bad companies, not really bad companies, but companies that are designed just for XYZ and not ABC, and then you try to flip it, and they just don't have the structure to support you to do those kind of things, and we see that all the time.
Yeah.
Money runs out, gets tight. The right people don't get paid the right amount. IT. Just a bunch of stuff. But if you're not born that way, how can you be that way, or can you be that way? What do you think, Jodi? Your experience?
Right. Well, it's a concept that L1 just brought up, and that is very simple: desire. It's a desire for something different in your life. It's a desire to create something more out of your life. It's a desire to be something more. It could be a desire to help other people. There are many different forms of desire, but to me, it all starts with that one concept.
I like that because I think also this is going to kind of give people, the ones who are trying to find an excuse and say, well, I'm not an entrepreneur because I didn't grow up selling lemonade or selling peanuts on the airplane or making flowers. But here's the thing. We all have desire. So even though, specifically for me, and it's funny because you say desire, according to Napoleon Hill, is one of the key traits of being successful.
Well, Napoleon Hill also says definiteness of purpose, and desire,
but it has to be
I
driven
agree,
by
but
desire. If you don't have the desire, it doesn't work.
Isn't there a car named that way, or a street?
Streetcar name. I would say I would be an example of someone who, even though I made things, my desire was more about sharing and teaching. But as a kid, I would not say, well, I was an entrepreneur. I would say, I liked more just to make things and share them and teach people about things. And that translated to my own journey in becoming an entrepreneur.
So psychologically, Elle, would you say that teaching or anything like that is maybe in the esoteric realm like a lack that you need to fulfill, and therefore you need to be accepted, so you want to teach so you can be accepted? Or are you saying that it's an explosive attitude within you that you want to do it regardless the results?
I think it's a little bit of both, because I think if you teach, you will learn. It's inevitable. The best way to learn something is to teach it. So if you have a desire to teach and share, that means that inevitably you are also going to learn something and express something.
So onto you, Jodi, out of curiosity, is there that type of teaching or anything like that that also inspires you to move forward?
What inspires me to move forward is helping people. And, anyone who wants to learn something, who wants to grow, I want to help them find that, whatever it is that they're looking for. I love being around a team of people and cheerleading them on.
Yeah, and since it's our show and people might think, is she telling the truth? It's absolutely true. Let me tell you. No matter what anybody does, she's always looking at the bright side of it and trying to figure out how to make it work rather than why it wouldn't work. And if she brings up why it wouldn't work, it's just so you can figure out how to make it work, which is a very interesting concept. And I really appreciate that about you, Jodi, a lot, actually. And no matter what comes your way, you're always on top of something. I'm going to dominate this thing. And you do. It takes time. But you do. So perseverance. Do you find perseverance was important during your childhood and moving forward? I mean, let me set the stage on that one. you're a child, right? You have no money. You have no real control over your life because dad takes you everywhere in these big things called cars. And you have to move around. You lose your friends whenever, so you can't really be attached. Or I don't know, did you grow up in the same neighborhood for all your life? I don't know. But the point I'm making is, and your parents, were they like completely supportive? Like, yeah, go do this and yeah, go do that, or weren't they? I'm just trying to figure out, did you need perseverance because other things were against you? People kind of knocked you off your horse, saying you can't ride this horse. You're not old enough. You're not smart enough. Did that happen?
It did. It did. I came from a family with a father who had massive anxiety and was afraid over everything, and, made a lot of decisions in his life that he later regretted. And I watched my father beat himself up on a daily basis of all the things that he should have done.
Wow.
And I just said, that's not going to be me. I'm going to go ahead, and if there's something I desire, if there's something I want to do, I'm going to try it. And I don't care if I fail. And that really was uncomfortable for my father. And he gave me a hard time about everything I ever wanted to do and everything I ever did. And even when I succeeded at things that I went for in life, he still couldn't believe it. And so in his own way, I'm sure he tried to support me in my endeavors, but his disapproval and his lack of support is really what drove me to prove him wrong.
That's really an impressive scenario. I can tell you that my father had to come from another country to the U.S. and my life's a little complicated, but having to learn the language and not being able to go to school because you need a job was really difficult for him. I saw him beat himself up, and then the neighbors are not that friendly anyway. So they're, oh, look at you, you can't even speak the language. I'm like, it doesn't make you less intelligent. But the reality was that where my father came from, he was a detective, and he was honored and all kinds of stuff. So just moving here didn't take that away. It's just that he couldn't really communicate the same way. But I had to endure the fact that he couldn't succeed or whatever because I depended a lot upon his success at the time. So I was like given up for adoption. Went to Germany, lived there, and then joined the military. So, I think everyone survives the best way that they can, and I don't think anybody really is immune from having these negative experiences. What about you, Elle?
As far as like the experiences
having to persevere, and having to move forward with negativity since you were a kid.
I think for me, I did not come from a family of entrepreneurs at all, and in fact, there was really no one there who knew anything about it. And, what they knew about it was, very, very negative. It was kind of like, well, it won't work. And so, I did have to kind of still push for something. I still had a desire, didn't know what. I'll tell you that I didn't, when my parents would ask me, they're like, tell me your ideal job. And I'm like, I don't have an ideal job. My ideal job is I don't have to work at all. And they're like, well, what do you mean? That you just want someone to give you money? I'm like, no. I'm like, I want to have money that I make, but I don't want that to be my life. I want to have money so I can do the things that I really want to do.
Yeah, but your parents, you got to figure, the Great Depression,
yeah. Well,
they were probably at the tail end of that,
of course.
Grandma, and so they learned some hard lessons back then, and so I don't know, maybe factories were made because of the war, and people thought factories were, the godsend.
Well, getting a 9 to 5 was the end all be all of success.
Yeah, back in 30s and 40s. Yeah.
Well, that's what they still thought.
Well, see, that goes back to mindset and frame of reference. What do you think, Jodi? You think that people have a certain mindset and a reference point where they always go back to, and maybe that's why they can't break the cycle?
I think it's called the comfort zone.
The comfort zone.
The comfort zone.
We all know who likes that, right? Oh, cuckoo! Same magic words, he comes out. So what do you think of the comfort zone? Did you have a comfort zone?
Oh, I think we all have a comfort zone, but, my goal in life every day is to try to, break the comfort zone, to try to expand my zone. Look I'm sitting here doing a podcast.
It's true. It's
You know?
true.
Because
Okay, so-
You're doing
you
great.
were persistent.
Okay,
You
now
were-
this
you were
this
doing
kind
great.
of I kind of want to jump to this question because I feel like we're answering it, and I don't want you to feel like you have to give me one answer for
All right,
this. But
Elle, I'm just going to say one thing.
hang on.
Wait,
I
wait,
wanna-
before you
what?
answer the question. All right, come on.
okay,
All right, I want you to introduce the question. You ready? You ready?
okay.
Go ahead, introduce the question.
First of all, a lot of people actually do want to know this. What would you say, Jodi, is one of the most important reasons? I know you're not going to just give me one answer, but what would you say one of the most important, if not important reasons, one or a few, for your success right now? I mean, I'm hearing a lot of great things about your mindset, but what do you think is one of the most important reasons for why you are successful right now, where you are?
Well, that's an awesome question. Thank you, L1. I appreciate you. And it's a very simple answer, and it's just because I refuse to give up, because I won't take no for an answer, because I know there is something more out there in life for me, and I just have to keep trying new things and trying new ideas and learning new information. And every time I fall down, pick myself back up and try it again.
Okay, that's awesome.
Persistence.
Yeah, the persistence. Okay, so that kind of reminds me of the desire you were saying, because I think without the desire, people won't be able to pick themselves up. But I think for you, your desire plus your persistence to keep getting up and, keep pushing towards what you're given, because it sounds like you were given something from what you saw around you, your environment. You didn't really want it that way. So you have to have persistence and desire for something different, even though probably as a kid you didn't know what it was. You just knew you didn't want what you saw.
Right, and you can have persistence and desire, and without goals, they mean nothing. So you have to have a goal as your end game as well.
Okay. Goals plus desire and persistence equals...
Look at that. She's speaking formulaically. I love it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Systematic, formulaic.
There you go.
So, what do you think of the podcast, first of all, about podcasting online, kind of helping other people? Because one podcast can reach so many different people and inspire an entire world,
Indeed.
What do you think of the industry as podcasting, for example? Because this is your first impression. What do you think?
Well, it's not my first impression because,
I mean, you've
I've
listened to it, but
listened
now
to
you're
your
sitting in a chair.
podcasts.
Aw, she listens to
Aw.
everybody.
Of course, I have to support my people. But yeah, I mean, I have all the respect in the world for you guys and what you do, and you put together a quality
Thank you,
product.
guys.
And
Thank you.
it's great. I love your mission. I love what you do. I love that you guys are truly coming from a servant's heart perspective, and you just really want to help other people lift themselves up and find a better way of life.
So does it match kind of like your way of being as well? The reason for the podcast and one of the reasons why you're here on the podcast?
Oh, of course. I mean, it's absolutely in alignment with what I believe in and what I do. I just never saw myself as a podcaster or a contributor. I've always seen myself as more of a supporter or cheerleader for you guys in what you're doing to reach your objective.
But you have taught other people how to be successful, right?
Of course.
You've led them by the hand, you
I-
helped them out, you were there for them?
You know what? My success is dependent upon other people's successes. So in order for me to obtain the success and reach the goals that I want to reach, I have to help other people achieve theirs.
So is that by design in the system, the business that you're working in now, or is that by your choice?
It's absolutely by design. It's a duplicatable, proven system that is based on helping other people. And that is what I fell in love with, and that is what I just fundamentally enjoy every day.
And thank you also for, introducing the system to us. And again, guys, I know you're there. What system? I know who you guys are. You want to know everything. And no, at the end of the show, I'm not going to mention it either. So sit down. The point is that it is, I got to take a step to the side. And if I were thinking on an esoteric term, different show, I know, but the way it's designed, it really is meant for people to help people. And they're kind of like no employees. There's none of this hierarchy, the ties are not there, and it works so beautifully. And the opportunity really is not because it exists and stuff like that. What would you say, since we're on the topic real quick, what would you say, like would you recommend a system like this just to anybody, or what do you think?
I mean, it's a system made for average people to achieve an above average life. So if you have a desire to create something more with your life and a willingness to be coachable, there's absolutely nothing that you can't accomplish with this vehicle.
So that brings me to another question that's kind of related to this. L1, I'm sorry, I'm stepping on you.
Oh, no,
I'm just curious. I don't get to pick her brain this way.
Yeah, this is true. This is pretty rare.
Right? So, and I hope she comes back to tell me some more of these secrets. But the thing is, it's kind of duplicatable. It's easy enough for somebody to jump in. There's mentorship, stuff like that. There's, and it's really a beautiful system. That's why I love it so much. But I was going to lean towards asking a question where, you're kind of saying this is for every walk of life, right? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, 100%. It was a system that was designed for the average person.
Who doesn't do well in the system?
Someone who gives up.
When do you know when to give up?
Never.
It's a big question.
You never give up.
And why not? Why not never? Because I can fill that in, but I don't want to. I want to hear from you.
Well, I mean, many people do give up. And, listen, you can have unsuccessful hairdressers. You can have unsuccessful real estate agents. You can have unsuccessful entrepreneurs. You can have unsuccessful college students that drop out of college. Does that mean college doesn't work? Of course not. Does it mean if you have an unsuccessful realtor that, selling homes doesn't work? No. I mean, if you give up on something, it's not going to work for you.
How long did it take you to be good at it? Good enough?
I don't know if I'm good enough yet.
Wow. So I know that in reading material online, they say never give up. You always give up a yard before the goal or something, 10 yards before the goal. People come up with a lot of sayings, which, I'm like, oh my God, another saying. Because they're all based on perspectives. But this is one of those situations where it's actually true, right? And it's worked out for you very well. What gives you the most joy when you're working with someone else?
Watching other people succeed, watching other people grow, watching other people be able to achieve their dreams, watching my sister-in-law get to retire from her job because she had created an ancillary income source that allowed her to pursue her passions more. A business partner of mine who is now almost in the $1 Million Club. She's earned over $900,000 of commissions with our business.
Wow.
I mean, that's huge for me to have another $1 million earner in my business. And just knowing that had I not introduced her to this, she would be in a completely different place in life right now.
And
that's
that gives
a good
you joy?
feeling. Oh, it gives me great joy.
Elle, what do you think? What kind of questions do you have for Jodi?
Well,
Jodi, first of all, before I hand it over, I'm amazed at your answers. They're the answers that I would expect a CEO of a very successful company to say.
Well, I am just the CEO of my own life, the Novi.
Oh, see? What is it you say, L1? You incorporated.
Oh, that's true. You incorporated. But for real though, you can't. If you can't go through, if you've gone through your life every day and made someone's life a little bit better, a little bit easier, you've lived a full life. There's people who say, well, what have I done today? It's like, you can do these things. And yes, it's necessary to do things. Like, for example, in your business, you have to do things.
I'm a
tasks. But, oh boy. But,
don't go there.
What have you done to actually... In other words, is someone's quality of life, including your own, better because you got out of bed and decided to, live, pretty much? I mean, if you've done that, that's real living. That's real living. So I like that.
100%.
Yeah. Now, okay, the Novi, for these last questions here, I actually do need some exciting intro music, and I'm going to explain why in a minute.
But Lucy, let me explain. You want intro music?
Give that upbeat intro music. Okay. This'll do. So, as you know, this is, a lot of people have been anticipating our interview with Jodi. And So I did get some questions from some of our viewers who are curious, and some of them are from various degrees of entrepreneurship, just starting out, they've been in it for a while, and they just want to kind of pick the mind of another successful entrepreneur. And then the very last question, I'm going to take full ownership of, because it is mine, and it is more the academic type of question, but I thought it would still be a lot of fun.
Are you going to go academic on me today?
Just at the last question, but not really, okay?
Okay, go for it.
All right, so first question, this is one from our listeners and viewers. Okay, so they want to know the daily life of Jodi as an entrepreneur. Can you, like they just want to know, what's your daily life like? If you could give like a brief summary, the day in the life of Jodi as the entrepreneur.
All right, great. We'll have to give the people what they want to know. So, the daily grind for an entrepreneurial type of a person, myself in this particular example, would be that you get the privilege of waking up when you want to wake up instead of when an alarm clock tells you have to wake up.
I think
that.
I think that Robert Kiyosaki, and you really got reach that board down for you guys that just don't know who he is. I think he said that once you make enough money, take a year off, one complete year off of doing nothing, and you'll see how much richer your life becomes. Now, face it, you spend 8 hours of sleep, maybe. Then you have to go to work. They say 8 hours worth of work, but by the time you get ready, you drive there, you get there, it's more like 9, 10, about 10, almost 12 hours worth of working because, getting ready, driving, and so forth. And then you may even work a little more. So by the time you come home, you have what? Maybe 3 hours to spend with your family? And so you really don't know your family as much as you know your coworkers. That's where all this romanticism. Hey, Mary, I found my true love where I work. And I'm like, yeah, because you prisoner there. Anyway, so the point I'm making is she's right. It makes sense. And have you seen a lot of people in this particular line of business be able to do that? And how was their lives or yours, for example?
Well, once you get to a certain income level where you're, comfortable enough that you can, stop your other profession, quit your other day job, close your other business, in my case, which is what I did.
You mean your salon?
I did.
Did you close it or did you sell it?
I closed it. Closed the door. Closed the door. Yeah, and I walked away from a amazing 6-figure income because I had no time freedom. Because in order to generate that money every single year, I had to stand behind the chair pumping out haircuts. And I missed my kids' football games, and I missed my children's events that I very much wanted to be at. And it wasn't until I learned how to make money smarter rather than, trading time for money that I was able to have the freedom that came along with being an entrepreneur. A successful entrepreneur, because you have to reach that level of income success to free up your time, right?
Is it hard to get to that income level?
It is. It's very hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Well,
right?
I heard one particular person did it in 6 months.
It's true. And she's a very close personal friend of mine, and her income has grown every year since. So she's got an amazing business, and but she's the anomaly, right? There's always that. One person that's going to defy the odds. And if you met her, you'd see why that was so. But,
But she's reachable, right? Within this business design.
Well, yeah, other people
totally
have achieved it,
right?
just not in 6 months.
No, I mean this person we're talking about. She's reachable. You can actually have a conversation with her, take some tips.
Yeah.
Right?
I've been on vacation with her, for sure. Mm-hmm.
So I'm only saying that because most people think that successful entrepreneur means snobbish, means push you off to the side, means you don't matter anymore. Really?
Wow, that's so sad that they would put a category of people in a box like that.
Well, it's been going on since, the 20s.
I think since forever.
Well, when we do that, we miss out.
Walk.
We miss out because she's become a very good friend of mine, and she's one of the most amazing people in the world.
She's pretty complex, but very awesome to get to know, and she should be complex. If you were simple, I don't know if you could actually, do what she did in 6 months, which is amazing. But she had the tools to do it, right?
She did. She had a proven business system, and she actually created a lot of the tools that we now use today based on her success. And she paid it forward by helping the rest of us achieve our goals.
And prior to that, this phenomenal person, had some failures, right? Other
She
businesses that
did.
didn't
She
work.
did.
Right?
Yeah, I believe she was in 9 other companies, and she became like the number one money earner in those companies also. But they weren't sustainable companies. The companies went out of business, or the products eventually failed or couldn't be restocked. I mean, she had all sorts of obstacles that she faced, and she had pretty much given up on being an entrepreneur and swore she would never try anything else. And then, this business opportunity was presented to her, and it was different from what she had previously known and had experience with, and she just decided that everything happens for a reason, and that the experience of failures that she had with those other companies was going to lead her to great success with this one. And that is indeed what happened.
And that kind of leads into, you always quit just before you're successful, because boom, she got it, right?
Unfortunately, some people quit before the finish line.
So did you go through a lot before you got to this business opportunity and were able to succeed?
I tried a few other companies, but, mostly just to get products at wholesale. Never really took a business model seriously. I had my salon. I had my 5 children. I was remodeling a house. I wasn't looking for a business opportunity. When this fell into my lap, I really wasn't. It was the products that we broker that really opened my eyes to something that was necessary in my life, not even optional, but necessary, because the products had such profound results for myself and my husband at the time. So, I knew if there were products out there, nutritional supplements that would help me with the issues that I was struggling with, and could help my husband with the issues that he was struggling with, that I could help an awful lot of my clients with these products. So I didn't really start the business with the intention to be where I am now, because I loved what I did in the salon at the time. But it became very clear to me once I saw the business model behind the products that it was something that had a tremendous amount of opportunity to it. And I was like, if the people in this room that are showing me this business plan can make $500,000 a year, they're no different than I am. I could really do something with this.
So in a quick recap, if I may, products do matter. Sustainability of a company, the way the plan is designed. And by plan, I mean, how the way they run the business, the things they do, how they help other people grow. That matters a lot, like a great deal, because you can be the best player but have a just rotten game, like the system. So that kind of matters. Also, what matters is your upbringing, whether you were exposed to things or not, and if you weren't exposed to things, can you actually get out of the box to move forward in a system? But you have to have also the vision that certain things are just important. And in this case was the products that were important to you, and then you took a look at the business being, born to, be an entrepreneur, and it just made sense to you. But you were a little reluctant in the beginning, obviously, from what I'm getting from you.
I was very reluctant until I tried the products.
I was going to do that to you.
Right. And, I think what you're saying is like the system is important. The sustainability of the business is important. The products are important. But the other key piece is the education. And you mentioned attitude, the attitude of the potential entrepreneur. So these are all the ingredients that really make a really beautiful opportunity be able to come to life and change people's futures.
We have more questions. You mind coming back on our show? Is it that hard? You sat down there. You got the mic there in front of you. Does it feel comfortable by now for you?
I mean, we're all friends here, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
I feel comfortable because I love you guys, and
I feel odd all the time. Oh,
Yeah.
somebody loves to know me. Oh my God. For what I am.
and L1.
And L1, of course.
Now we've got this is a listener question, second listener question.
Well,
So
we
the
got to
day in
close
the
it. We
life-
got to close it soon because our time is running out. Just so you know, yep. So,
Okay.
last question. What is it?
Last question. Oh, God. So choose from these last 3 questions.
Well, she'll come back online.
All right. This is the one. I'll go with mine then. I rarely do this. Okay. So according to a recent study, the top 3 traits of a successful business owner would be consistent authenticity, humility, and compassionate empathy. So, Jodi, as someone who is in the business world, in the entrepreneurial world, how would you agree with this? And if so, is it possible for someone to become that way if this is something that they need to do to be successful?
I mean, I agree with those traits in terms of the business that we are in. I see a lot of business owners as being pretty cutthroat and bottom line oriented, which to me is...
Are they coming in with the wrong mindset because that's all there is out there?
Possibly, but, who am I to say it's wrong?
I love it.
So, but, I think in this business, those attributes definitely apply. And I think just surrounding yourself with the people that are a part of this company, if you weren't like that when you came into this business, you're probably going to weed yourself out and you may not be successful. But that's only because you chose not to be part and immerse yourself in a culture of people who are consistently authentic and have humility and are and have compassionate empathy, because that's really who the people are that we work with. And you can either rise to that occasion or you can choose not to, and that's your choice.
Okay.
Beautiful. Totally beautiful. All right, so we got to wrap this up, Elle. Last lines on the thought, Elle. What do you think? Based on what's kind of a recap on your part?
Well, I'm really excited to. I really want to go back to the first trait of desire, persistence, and having a goal. There's, I would say, probably some of the most successful business entrepreneurs and even CEOs, like leaders. Let's just say leaders. These are traits of leaders here. And being an entrepreneur does require you to be a leader. And I think Jodi's definitely a great example of a leader, because she does inspire others to be a leader as well. So including this team here, we can all agree.
Jodi, how would you recap today's show based on what we said? What do you think is important? What would you want somebody to remember, take home with them?
The only thing that I would want people to remember and really take to heart is to do some soul searching and say, if you're not where you want to be in life right now, if you think that there's more for you out there, then just keep getting more information about, not even just what we have to offer, but about what is out there. And I think the more you educate yourself on alternatives to where you are in life and try to find something different, the more successful and the more happy that you'll be.
So it's almost like you're saying that success will happen when you get the right things together. It's not about the money.
It's never about the money. We always can find the money. It's a formula. And again, it goes back to just having the desire to do something different, to be something different, and to make a change. And I feel that everyone out there is worth it.
Somebody better tell Billy Idol, Moni, 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 come on. It's a good song, though. I get you. Thank you again, really, seriously. I can't thank you enough for being on the show. It's, it's like childhood dream, right? You with Jodi. so
I don't know about all that. Come on now.
Well, it's all about the company you keep.
Right.
You do become the average of the people you insist on hanging out
You
with.
and your scholarly self.
And that is a sacred philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
So I would wrap this up kind of the same way you guys have. I don't have like a lot of differences, except that neurology and health have something to do with the way you feel and your stamina on how you perceive things and how long you can perceive things. Also, we just finished a show on, are you in the right environment, right?
That's
Luna,
true.
Luna,
Who and what are you surrounding yourself with?
Yeah, Luna and I was all about that one, So she was like, boom, boom, boom. I was like, oh my gosh. After a while, we had to calm her down so cold water because she was hot over. She said, yeah, I got this. But the point I'm making, though, is I think, there's some other elements, but I think you lucked out. I think you lucked out, and I want to thank you very much. And I want to pass it forward and have other people enjoy this opportunity that you've mentioned. Or you not mentioned. Haha. because it's a very rare situation where you can combine all these elements together for a good stir, successful soup there. This is definitely success soup. I've never really seen any other place like that. I've worked in many places, I've done stuff for many people, and I think that the combination is really good. But I also think that the diversity within the actual company itself of different people and stuff like that really make it happen. And it's hard to tell someone who's listening that, hey, be successful and, it's okay, you're going to make it anyway. No, there's really a lot of different elements that you need to do it. You could be a successful shoelace seller or a salon, but you're going to have to work really hard the traditional way. I think this is that one chance that actually tipped the scale over, and it kind of can help anybody out, kind of achieve anything they want. So I'm really happy about that. Jodi, thank you very much for being with us today. I hope you come back on our show.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
And L1, let me tell you, these questions that you gathered together are awesome. I really do appreciate them. I hope I didn't go overboard with my questions.
Not at all.
And you're listening to, Bibx, Business in the Box. We're here just sharing on these few episodes. We're just sharing the life and times of Jodi and how she went from being a kid entrepreneur to an adult entrepreneur, I guess. It's not a rags to riches kind of thing, but it really teaches us, what elements you need to make something work for yourself. And if you're just a person out there wanting to change your life, this just might be it. And don't forget, every week we will be here with you, holding your hand, talking to you. If you want, you can go to becomethesource.com, look us up over there, say hello. Any questions, you can send them to aftermath@becomethesource.com. We're more than willing to answer your questions if you need it. Catch our show. Please subscribe. L1, any last words?
Thanks all for being here. Really do appreciate it. And keep those questions coming. And Jodi, thank you once again.
Jodi, I was going to say the last rites, but that'd be bad.
Whoa.
Anything you want to say last?
I just wanted to say thank you so much for being persistent and pushing me out of my comfort zone to be here joining you guys tonight, because I totally believe in your mission, and I hope your listeners appreciate the quality content that you bring to them on a consistent basis. You guys are awesome.
We are awesome! Luna Nanya missed out. Now, she's over here actually listening today. She was just wanting to be a spectator. She's waving her fist at me. Oh, boy. I'm in trouble.
She's
See you
probably
guys.
hungry.
I know,
Yeah.
right? See you guys. I love you all. Take care.